I think it's safe to say that most of us are looking to put the year 2020 in the rearview mirror and set our sights on 2021. So, have you started setting goals for 2021? Did you set goals for 2020? Did you meet any of those goals? If you didn't, I'm not going to hold it against you because, last year, it was rough. Greetings, people of the internet. I'm Scott with Serkworks Art Labs. Welcome, mad creators, to the underground laboratory where we create robots, aliens, zombies, and other imminent threats to humanity. At least that's what I try to do most of the year. But last year, or this year, as I'm recording this, it's still 2020, but we're about closing this this whole year out, and good riddance, really. I'm sure most of you people out there probably feel the same way. So I didn't get as much of those things done as I'd want to, or I had wanted to, but you know, we are with the end of a year. We're looking forward to another year, and obviously, you know, things aren't just going to magically get better right away. But hopefully, we're moving in that direction. So, like every year I do this, where what I do is I pretty much do sort of a little recap of what my goals were for the previous year. And then I set goals for the next year. Now my hope is, you know, a little bit of this is self-serving, just so I can kind of document this, put this out there, so I can look back myself. I'll just go back a year in my video feed and, oh, okay, I see where I set my goals and did I meet those goals and all that. And then I just continue to do that, and I've been doing that for a little while. But I don't want this just to be all about me, so I'm hoping that by doing this, you can kind of see what I do to hopefully try to reach my goals, or at least move in that direction, and for you to do the same. And maybe this will be helpful to you, and I will try to approach it from that aspect, even though I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that I'm doing to reach my goals. Hopefully this will apply to you, and you can do the same thing. And I would encourage you to do something similar. If you're on YouTube, if you have a YouTube channel, or any kind of a video format or whatever, you know, do something like this. Put that out there. Let people, even if no one's really watching, if you record this, and it doesn't have to be video, you can just be a vlog or just something you're posting on social media or something like that. Just list out your goals, because once it's out there, it's going to help hold you accountable, because other people see it and other people will be like, hey, did you meet these goals and everything? So that's the other reason why I'm doing it. So I would encourage you to do that. Put your goals out there, make it known, and you know, that way, because if you don't put those things out there, if you don't meet them, it's like, no one's gonna know if I met these goals or not. So it's really helpful to actually, you know, make a statement, put those out there in the world so people can see it, they can hold you accountable. And also it serves as sort of a time capsule or a document that you can refer to, and you know, like I'm doing here. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna look back at the year 2020 and see if I managed to meet any of those goals. And spoiler alert, probably not too many of them, because yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't even have to say it. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. But if you set goals for in 2020 and you met those goals, kudos to you, man, because that's pretty awesome. But like I said, I am also gonna, you know, set my goals for 2021, and then hopefully at the end of 2021, I will have met some of those goals, and I'll be a little more, getting back on track, hopefully. So I'm gonna get to that, but rather than just sitting here talking to you, I'd like to put up something interesting on the screen. One of the goals that I'm planning on doing, and hopefully fairly soon for next year, is to create a new sticker pack. And I want to take you behind the scenes, because I want to do it like the classic old wax packs. I want to show you how to do all that kind of stuff. Now the process of making those stickers isn't quite ready, but I do have some other stickers that I created, you know, a little while ago. You know, robots, aliens. I've got an alien here, so I'll probably show you the process, and I've got other ones here. So I'll just throw that on the screen while I kind of go over my goals last year and this year. And so yeah, let's get into it. All right, let's talk about setting goals. Now, one of the major tools that I use to set goals, I use Trello. Now, I don't know if you guys have used Trello, but it's just, and there's other programs or apps out there like this. And I think, you know, there's a video I did a little while ago, probably a couple years ago, showing my whole process of how I use this, but it's just a way of creating it's kind of like to-do lists, but you can kind of move them around like a bulletin board. And I've got a whole system that I use. I won't go into that now. You can refer back to the old video because I think it still holds up, but I may do an updated video for that. But anyway, so, you know, look into Trello, and like I said, I may do a video on that. But that's the way that I keep track of all my goals. But whatever way works best for you is how you keep track of them. But make sure they're either written down or in some kind of app or something like that. Because otherwise, you know, if you just say them to yourself, I mean, you've got to have this stuff kind of chronicled and written down and everything. So I'm going to start with what my goals were for 2020. I went and rewatched my last year's videos, and I took some notes and everything. So here we go. 2020. Oh boy. So my main goal for 2020 was to make passive income my primary source of income. Now, what that meant was, you know, previous to that, I was doing a lot of freelance work and everything, client work, and I had just started getting involved in building these passive income streams. And basically what that equates to is I was creating like digital products that I sell on my website, and recently I got into some other areas of passive income, which I'll talk a little bit about. This is a weird one because did I meet that goal? Yes, in a way I did, but that's, you know, that was pretty much my only source of income was the passive income streams I built, because all my freelance work kind of went away. It just because I was doing work for people that, you know, with the year that we had, kind of fell on hard times and had to, you know, and just couldn't afford to keep me on doing the projects and everything. So in a way I did meet that goal, but you know, it was a lot of scraping by and everything. But through that process, I realized that, you know, I had been wanting to kind of move away from freelance and just focus on this other stuff. I don't know if I was totally ready for it, but now that I'm kind of moving in that direction, I mean, that's what I wanted to do. I didn't want it to be sort of this baptism of fire where all of a sudden everything just went away and that was my only source of income, but that kind of ended up the way it was. So the other thing was that I planned on doing was further niching down in just comic related projects. Now, if you watch this YouTube channel, you know a lot of what I talk about is comics. I have a passion for creating comics and teaching, you know, how to create comics and giving advice on things like that. And I had found that most of the videos that I did that did fairly well centered around comics. So I thought if I focus more on just that, that would help, you know, the YouTube channel grow and everything. And a big part of that was to create a series called Making Comics 101. And if you're not familiar with that, definitely go check it out. It is probably one of my, I guess probably one of the crowning achievements I had last year. Not necessarily from a, you know, financial standpoint, or it didn't really help the channel grow, but I got so much feedback from people that it helped, and I just really, I feel like it's some of the best content that I've ever produced. And it's all out there. It's basically a free course on my YouTube channel that'll take you step by step how to create a comic, all the way from coming up with your ideas all the way to publishing it and getting out there and marketing and all the steps in between. It's like 70 videos. It's just a lot of content out there. So I focused on that, and like I said, success as far as growing the channel, not so much. I mean, they didn't get massive views. I was kind of hoping they would, because I stand behind it, but I think I helped a lot of people out, and I got feedback from people. I've had people sending me comics and things that they created while taking this course, and it's just an amazing feeling. So I could consider that a success, because not every success is a financial success or something to boost these statistics like views and subscriber counts and all those type of things. Now, another goal that I had for 2020 was to create 12 new digital products. Now, if you've seen my Comic Maker Toolkit, my Hero Design Studio, those are the type of products I'm talking about. And yeah, I didn't come anywhere close to that. Even though that is where I was getting, most of my secondary income, or the passive income that I was making, was from the sales of these digital products. So it stood to reason that I should focus more on that. but I kind of went in some other directions, and I will get to that. But I created 2 new products. Now, one of those was a huge product, the comic book world builder. Just a massive, it was probably the biggest digital product ever created. So that's available on Design Cuts right now, designcuts.com, if you search comic book world builder. So pretty big project, and then I believe the Hero Design Studio I created last year, and pretty proud of both of those digital design products, but I didn't create the 12 that I was hoping to. Now, another goal that I had was to create 3 new physical products, and this is it's basically like a physical version of some of these digital tools. So I wanted to create workbooks that people could buy to either, to design their thumbnails in or do their comic book layouts and everything. And for some reason I said I just wanted to create 3 of them, and I created just the comic related books. I think there's like around 12 of them that I designed, and you can find those. There's a link on my website. They're available on Amazon and everything. But so it's almost like those 2 goals got flipped. I didn't create 12 new digital products. I created 2, or I would say, because the one was so big, I'd count that as 3, or maybe even more, because it was that big. But then on the physical products, I set a goal for 3, and I created like 12. So it's almost like those 2 were in reverse. And that's kind of the road that I went down as I started focusing more on publishing these books. Not only the comic book stuff, but just all kinds of coloring books and everything. I really focused hard on publishing books through Amazon's KDP platform, because I want to build that up along with the digital products, and I did a lot of work on that, but I guess I didn't really set out in the beginning of the year to do that. I think it was a result of, okay, all my freelance went away. What am I going to do to bring in income, or at least begin to create products that would hopefully later bring in some income and everything. So that's kind of what I focused on mostly, was publishing coloring books and workbooks and log books and all that kind of stuff through KDP. The next goal on my list was to complete the Making Comics 101 course. I talked about that, I completed it, and I'm gonna consider that a success, because I'm really proud of how that came out. And who knows, it may continue to gain views, and people may stumble upon it, and it's still, it's still out there, it's still evergreen content that I think is going to help a lot of people out. So that's a good one. As far as YouTube, I wanted to grow the channel to 20,000 subs. Now, I did not meet that goal. I was hoping that Making Comics 101 would be a little more success, doing 3 of those videos a week, and it would just bring in more viewers. But I kind of been fighting with that YouTube algorithm and trying to get my stuff out there, and haven't been able to crack that quite yet. I'm still working towards it. So I definitely didn't hit the 20K subs. At the beginning, I looked at if I just only did what I was doing, the growth of my channel would probably get to like 15K subs by the end of the year. And I think I'm at 16, I'm closing in on 17,000 subs. So not quite 20, but more than what I had projected. So I guess that, it's still a good thing. I didn't quite hit that goal, but these are goals that are really hard to, you could do whatever you can to try to hit those, but in some ways it's out of your control. I can make really good content like Making Comics 101, but at the end of the day, you don't have a whole lot of say over how big your channel grows. I mean, there's steps you can do to make that happen, but it's not always going to happen. The other thing I wanted to grow was my Patreon, and I had a goal. When I started I had just started my Patreon like last year, and at that point, I think I was bringing in like $60 a month. Like I said, I just started it. And I was hoping to my goal was to get to $300 a month on Patreon, and it was trending up and everything, but then, the pandemic hit and everything, and a lot of my patrons, just because they just couldn't afford to keep supporting, the Patreon, I kind of had a lot of drop-offs and everything. So actually, I mean, it kind of went back down to where it was, and I'll have to kind of figure out what I want to do next year to hopefully try to build that back up. My newsletter was another goal that I set for 2020. I had recently just started that newsletter, and I think I had 520 subscribers. My goal was to reach 1,500 subscribers. I didn't quite reach that. I think I'm close to 1,200 subscribers. Maybe a little more than that, so I didn't quite hit that. So, but it's, you know, it's getting close. So, I mean, these aren't total failures, but they're just not where I wanted to be. The other thing I wanted to focus on was more marketing my work, because I always have problems with that. Updating my website. And I put this on here, and this was a total failure, but I wanted to write and illustrate issues, either issue 5 or issue 5 and 6, depending on where that ends up leading. I don't know how many more issues. I have to actually sit down and start writing that for Young and the Dead, but I wanted to have my pencils, at least for one issue, done this year. And because I mean, that's a passion project for me, my comic book Young and the Dead. It doesn't earn really any money, so unfortunately with everything going on, I had to find a way to make money, and that's something that I had to shelf. But we'll get into 2021. That is something I want to get back to. But the marketing thing and the updating website, that really didn't get done either. So those are just a few, those are some goals that I just did not even get close to hitting. Another thing on the list of goals for 2020 were to build partnerships with like digital marketplaces that I could sell my wares. And I started on the digital stuff. I started on a few new marketplaces, so I've got my products on a number of different marketplaces, and each one brings in a little bit here, but it adds up, you know. And then there's some bigger marketplaces that I really did manage to partner up with, like Design Cuts, which I talked about. I created that whole comic book world builder project, digital product, and that was, you know, it was a lot of work, but I'm really happy with how that came out, and it did help me strengthen that relationship with that company. There was another company that I was going to do something with, and that kind of fell apart. But all in all, I was really happy with the strides I made, and the other, you know, marketplaces I was able to enter as far as for my digital products and everything, and I want to continue to do that. The other one that, I mean, I think this one goes without saying, that this just didn't really happen because the world we're living in right now, and that is networking and going out to more conferences. I started going to like the Creative South Conference and Phoenix Design Week, which is a local thing. Both of those events, of course, were canceled, and then I wanted to add one more to that, and of course that didn't happen. So that's kind of just, you know, out the window. That those goals weren't met. I continue to do like the, you know, my art casters and art check and things like that. So there is some community there. I probably could have tried to do more digital. I did one digital sort of not hangout, but digital event, like networking event. So that's something, and that's pretty much all you can do in the year that we were in. So, and really the last goal that I mentioned on my 2020 video was that I wanted to create 8 more t-shirt designs. And I created quite a few different t-shirt designs because I started moving into trying to create t-shirts through the Amazon merch program. I'll get a little more into that as I talk about my goals for 2021. But I definitely, I forgot how, I think I created like, I think 80 different t-shirt designs, or uploaded 80 different t-shirt designs. We'll get into that, but so that's pretty much my wrap up for 2020. Obviously I didn't hit a lot of those goals, but you know, I gotta kind of, you know, give myself some slack considering the year that we had. Now hopefully next year, 2021, we're gonna start, hopefully things are gonna start getting back to normal. We can only hope. So here are some of my goals for 2021. Now for 2021, I'm going to try to be a little more strategic so that I can meet these goals. And this is something that I want to advise you guys to think about too, is that, you know, I set these goals like I want to get so many subscribers, and then I can say like the way that I'm gonna hopefully get those subscribers is to create better content and everything, but that's not, I mean, it's hard to quantify. So what I'm gonna do this time is I'm gonna take the different like income streams and the things that I'm doing right now, figure out what I made this year and how to, you know, how to X that. Okay, so the first platform that I'm going to talk about is Amazon's KDP platform. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it's Kindle Direct Publishing. This is a way to publish books on Amazon. And I'm going to get a little more into this in future videos, kind of show you what I'm doing. I'm approaching it from a different standpoint than a lot of people, more from a creative, artistic standpoint. We'll see if that's a good way to go. But anyway, now what I'm talking about is being able to kind of break this down a little bit. Now, on Amazon KDP last year, I published 85 books. So I figure and those books earned me X amount of money. Now, to get to the point with the money that I need to be making, I need at the end of the year, bare minimum, I need to publish like, I think 600 more books so here's how it goes. So my goal is to publish 50 books a month. Now that may sound like a lot if you're not familiar with KDP, but a lot of people that are doing, they're just throwing, they might put up 50 books a day. Now, I would venture to say most of those books aren't very good and they probably don't sell. Even though I don't have as many books up there, most of my books do sell because they're good. You know, I take a little more time with them, and that's kind of the different approach that I'm taking. So I may not be publishing as many, and you may be thinking to yourself, how do you publish that many books? Well, a lot of the books might be like a blank journal, and it's just got a different cover on it, or like a sketchbook or something like that. But then some of them are higher content where it's like coloring books that take a little longer to do. I'm doing a little bit of each, so that's kind of what I'm doing. But I am spending a lot of time on the designs and everything. So anyway, 50 of those books, if I can publish 50 of those months, you times that for 12 months in a year, that comes out to around 600 books plus the 85 that I already have. So by the end of the year, if I have 685 books, that will, assuming if going off of what I made from this 85 books, if I'm able to do that's gonna put me in a better position to and that's my goal, is to reach that. Now with the digital products, I talked about the digital products before. Last year, I think I planned on putting out 12. That was probably a lot considering all the other stuff that I was doing, but I do want to publish 10 new digital products. Some of these might be smaller projects, like just a brush pack or something like that. Some of them might be larger. I've got some ideas from some really cool digital products for creating comics. Most of these will probably stick around that same comic book niche because that's what I like to do. So 10, you know, based on the product. And digital products, like I said, are my biggest source of income right now. And I only have like, what do I have, like maybe 8 digital products? So if I can get 10, then I think that's gonna set me up for success. So that's my goal, is to make 10 new digital products. Now, merch, Amazon merch, those are like t-shirts and other things. Now they've got tote bags, and I mean, and there's a bunch of other sites like Redbubble and you know, those type of sites that you can put your designs on any number of different products. I just started in merch last year, and the way Amazon merch is set up, there's a tier system. You start on tier 10, which means you have to upload 10 different designs. They have a limited to 10 designs, and you have to sell 10 designs before you can move up to tier 25, and then tier 100. So I got to tier 100, and that's sort of where I am right now. So far I've uploaded like, I think 90 designs out of those 100 that I have slots for, and I've sold about, I think, 80. So I've got to sell about 20 more shirts, and then that'll boost me into tier 500. There was a little lag there because part of the year they shut down merch because of the pandemic and everything, so no one was selling anything. And after that, I was kind of hesitant to get back into it. And it wasn't until recently that I started putting up more designs and everything, and really hoping to get out of that tier 100 and move into tier 500. But like I said, I just started, and then the whole thing got taken down. So I didn't concentrate on too much of that last year, but that is an area that I want to go into. So I need to get into tier 500. Hopefully that won't take too long. I need to sell 20 more shirts. Once I'm in there, my goal is to at least upload 400 designs. Now those designs, and I might talk about this too as well in future videos, but they don't have to be 500 or 400 unique designs. Like I can upload one design and put that on a t-shirt, a premium t-shirt, a hoodie, a tote bag, or whatever, and that would be considered a different SKU or a different design. So 400 fill basically 400 slots, and in that way, and I think by that point, you know, just getting close to getting out of tier 500, getting into tier 1000. And my hope is that I'll even surpass that, and I'll get into tier 1000 and everything. But that's my goal right now, is to upload 400 designs, and then hopefully sell 400 of those. We'll see how that goes. And that basically breaks down to, I need to upload 33 designs in a month. And that's kind of what I want to get across to you guys, is you got to figure out what do you need to do, and then break it down to, oh, what do I need to do in a year or a month? I mean, in a year, a month, and then in a day, because then it seems more tangible, or seems more attainable, I guess I should say, when you start breaking things down. And that's the easiest way to reach your goals, when you're able to break it down, and because then it doesn't seem like so hard. Like, now there may be days where I don't do 33 in a day, but at least you can kind of see what you need to do, and then you know, because, and you can spend one day and really hit it hard, and you can probably upload 100 designs or whatever on different products and everything. So hopefully this is all making sense if you're not familiar with some of these areas that I'm going into. All right, next on my goals for 2021, I'm gonna continue on YouTube, at least posting like once per week. It's usually once per week, plus every other week I have Artcasters. But I also, and I'm gonna get into this, but one of my goals is I'm gonna get back into doing the 100 days of making comics, and get back to working on my comic book, Young and the Dead. My goal there is to have at least a finished issue penciled. Maybe, hopefully further, but that Making Comics 101 is gonna, not Making Comics 101, I've got so many different comic things, and they all got numbers in them. Not Making Comics 101, but 100 Days of Making Comics. I'm gonna take that on. I probably will not, I could say I definitely won't update every day, but I'm hoping to do weekly updates to show you my progress, so there'll be a video on that. And then, like I said, making progress on that comic book, and getting out there, because I know a lot of people have been waiting. I couldn't make it happen last year, unfortunately. So hopefully this year's the year to get back into doing that. So anyway, through those videos, continue to post. And like I said, I really can't, I'm not even gonna really predict how many sub counts I'm gonna get, or views and everything. I'm just gonna do everything I can to, I wanna produce new content. I'm talking about, I wanna produce just, I'm not totally there yet as far as how I'm gonna do this. I'm still working on it, but I wanna create just some better content, some different things. I'm still gonna do the art advice videos that I always do, but I wanna do some more how-to videos, stuff like that. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I already mentioned how to make wax pack stickers and everything that I'm gonna be working on. That should be a fun one. Maybe some more mini comics content, how to do that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna be doing on YouTube, along with the 100 Days of Making Comics. And I've got here a note for networking. That we'll just have to see where we are. You know, we'll have to see if things start opening up. So I'm not gonna make any predictions as far as that, but I would like to get back out there and meeting people, meeting other creatives and everything. But as far as, you know, other than, you know, Patreon, that's something that I have to really figure out what I'm gonna do there, because like I said, it dropped quite a bit, and whether I do a Patreon drive, or I start creating more content, or find other ways to get people on my Patreon, because right now, because it's dropped so much, it's like I'm kind of in that part. I'm kind of thinking like, is it worth it for me to continue doing this? I mean, I love the patrons I have, but it's a lot of work. So So I don't know. I've gotta try to figure out what I can do to grow that Patreon. So that one's still kind of up in the air. Some of these I'm still, you know, I don't have everything all together. I mean, I've set some goals, but some of these things I'm still trying to figure out how to do, and that's all right, you know. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I'm concentrating on. So but I am gonna continue to do what I'm doing on Patreon. I'll probably do some more live streams with my patrons, sort of giveaways and things like that, and then exclusive content, the early content where I put out these videos, like this video I'm doing right now. The patrons will get to see it first. So thanks for sticking with me, patrons, and hopefully we can get this thing to grow back to where it was, hopefully. And then, you know, so those are most of my goals. I also have, you know, some personal goals like weight loss. I pretty much, you know, I gained back most of the weight that I lost over last year, so I gotta, you know, my goal is to lose 20 pounds through diet and exercise. The other thing that I'm really excited about is I have enrolled in this leadership program. It's basically, I think this is something that's going to really help me, not only to help achieve these goals, but just to get my life in order and everything. That's going to start in February. And yeah, and I'll talk what I can talk. There's some things I won't be able to talk about with that. But I've talked to some other people that have went through this leadership training program, and it's just, I see what it's done for them. So I'm hoping that it will do the same for me, and I'm super excited about that. So those are my goals for 2021. Hopefully this isn't just me rambling on about my personal stuff. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. I mean, that's really why I do this channel, is to help people, you know, reach their own goals and become better artists, and hopefully make some money doing your artwork if that's something that you'd like to do. For what it's worth, those are my goals. Hopefully it's helping you out. All right, so those are my goals for 2021, and I am gonna do my very best to try to meet these goals. They are a little lofty, but you know, after last year, I'm really looking to hopefully turn things around. So, but if you're gonna do that, you gotta kind of put in the effort. So, wish me luck, and I wanna wish you guys luck on your goals for 2021. And what are those goals? Let me know in the comments section what you want to accomplish, and also let me know if you're one of the few people that set goals in 2020 and actually met those goals, because that's a pretty big accomplishment considering all that we've been through. So here's to 2021. Hopefully it'll be better. I don't know if it could get any worse, but I gotta knock on some wood here. So anyway, here's to 2021. Good luck on reaching your goals. Actually, forget about luck, because this is all about hard work, perseverance, sticking to the plans you've set, and following through. So do all that stuff, and I think you'll do great. I'll see you guys later. That is all. Hey, thanks for watching. If you like what you saw and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Also, you can follow me at Serkworks on social media, and now you can support the work that I do on Patreon. Do you like making comics? Then go to Serkworks.com and pick up the Comic Maker Starter Kit. It's packed full of fonts, brushes, templates, and more. And best of all, it's totally free.